What is going on, everybody? It is the top of the 2 p.m. hour here on Duquesne campus for Duquesne Radio, DSR. Christian Bartoletti, Ben Giannetta, we're back again. It's us every week. We come at you with NFL Weekly Pick'em, and today we're going to start out Broncos Saints. It's the Thursday night game, 8:15, and the Broncos come into this matchup 3-3, and the Saints are 2-4.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you got? This is going to be a pretty bad game, I think.
Actually, I don't think this is going to be a terrible game. I watched Spencer Rattler because I'm a big Bucs fan. I watched him play against the Bucs, and he didn't look terrible. Like, he looked, for his first ever start in an NFL game, I thought he looked pretty good. I really did. He did, and he made some nice throws. Granted, he missed some like wide open guys down the field, but he's going to settle into this offense. Do you know the status of Chris Olave? Because he went out with a concussion. If he doesn't play, that's kind of a big hit for them. I mean, my boy Bub Means kind of stepped up.
I think.
But
so what's funny is that they had Carr listed as doubtful.
Really?
So they were even pondering the idea of him maybe coming back. He wasn't listed as out or IR or anything with his hip problem that we all have known about, obviously.
I thought they put him on the IR. I guess they didn't.
It said that his injury status was doubtful, and I think Olave was questionable. So I don't think he's fully ruled out.
I don't think Olave is going to play though. But I mean, I think the Saints can win this game. I think that their offense can really. I think
it's
can
Kamara.
Be spotty.
It's going to be the Kamara
It
show.
really is Kamara, and he sucked against the Bucs.
Really?
And our run defense is awful. Like in the first half, like he had a rushing touchdown, but I guarantee you he averaged less than like 4 yards per carry, and that shouldn't be happening.
Well,
against
didn't
that
McGovern
Bucs.
come in? I think McGovern, who's Cesar Ruiz is their starting center.
He got called up off the couch last week.
Yeah. They said he came up off the Jets practice squad.
Yeah.
And came in and played for the Saints and the offensive line. So they're a little bit banged up, of course, as well. I think they're missing one of their tackles as well.
Yeah, everybody's banged up.
Yeah, there are a couple big key losses for the Saints. Obviously, no Derek Carr in this one, but they're going up against Bo Nix. And this is what's tough about Bo Nix, because Bo Nix had a really awful start, but I don't think he's that bad.
Neither do I. I don't think he's that bad.
Like, there's Bo Picks, and everyone's going to keep saying that for as long as he's in the NFL. But
yeah, but
I think there's a redeeming quality to look at him, and especially with, obviously with Cortland Sutton being his key target, target getter, and obviously the only really option he has to throw to in that offense. There's not, and Troy Franklin, who
he did have a touchdown catch,
right? Which, and coming out of Oregon, I liked him.
I did like him too,
but he hasn't seen the production that obviously I think anybody would want him to have. But
no, but I really think that Bo Nix's production is going to come down to how well Javonte Williams is and how that run game plays, because
the Saints defense is pretty good.
Their defense was not good on Sunday. They let up 277 rushing yards.
Well,
277 rushing yards to the Buccaneers. And if
was Demario Davis playing?
I think he was. Give me 1 second. He was playing. Demario Davis was playing.
The defense should be good. I guess the Buccaneers had a shootout, so it's like obviously
they scored 51 points.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, they gave up 277 rushing yards and 325 passing yards. That's not a good That's not a good defense. Maybe they'll clean it up against the Broncos.
I think what I meant more was that on paper the defense should be good.
Yeah, on paper.
Because you have Cam Jordan, who has obviously shown his age and whatever, but they have another interior pass rusher, and I don't think Davenport's there anymore. But Davenport was good for a couple years.
Not. They have
a new
they have
Brzee.
Nathan,
I know Brzee.
Brzee's pretty good. They have Nathan Shepard. He's coming off the edge, and then they also have Peyton Turner, but he hasn't really turned out. Marshawn Lattimore's always going to be good, and it's
was it a Debo that was getting cooked?
Debo. He did pick off Baker Mayfield.
Maybe it wasn't a Debo. It was the Alontae Taylor might have been the one that was getting absolutely fried on social media. Like he was getting bullied in that Bucs game, and I don't know if it was one of the two corners, and I know it wasn't Lattimore.
I forget who it was. It definitely wasn't Lattimore because Kool-Aid McKinstry came in for a little bit.
Okay.
But their corners aren't very good outside of Lattimore. I mean, Paulson Evil's okay. He's too physical. He gets too many flags. I think it just comes down to how well that run game for the Broncos goes, and if Spencer Rattler can calm down in this offense.
So the point total is 37.5. So they're not expecting a whole lot.
No, and I'm going to take the over on that one. I'm going to take Saints and over.
Okay, because the Saints are the underdogs for right now.
I do know that. Yep, but I'm still taking the Saints.
Thursday prime time. It's a rookie quarterback matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Denver.
Okay.
I think you're gonna see Surtain come out, and I think he was also listed as questionable, which is a big. If you're down Surtain, you'd pretty much lose your defense, like a heart of your
Essentially,
defense.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's gonna be up to I know Kamara does really well in prime time when the lights are on him and
Yep.
all the eyes are watching him. He just always finds a way to do something great, and I don't know. It's tough because I don't think either of these offenses are very capable. They're not going to, especially without Carr. Obviously, the Saints offense coming the first 2 weeks of the season, which their first 2 wins were of the season. Now they're on a 4-game losing
Put up,
streak.
85 points in 2
Right,
games.
right.
That's crazy.
And we were talking about the Saints run, and that's when we started doing this was right around the Saints run, and we were like, oh my gosh, the Saints offense is crazy. But we said there was going to be a fall from grace. There had to be.
Yep.
And there was, and now they're on a 4-game slide of losing, and I think it continues. I think they get a 5th loss here. And it's detrimental to their season.
Yeah, I think they probably sit Derek the rest of the season, and I think they just let Spencer
Let it
Rattler.
go.
There's no point in saving this season. You're 2-5, tank for a good draft pick.
What's your thought on trading Olave?
I,
Because he's still young, right?
as
so
an
he has so many
Olave
years.
fan, he should get out of
Yeah.
there. Get out of there. They hate him there. But I mean, he's a young guy, and he can be a staple. Of
And
that
I think he's
receiving
great.
core.
I think he's great.
He's a great guy. They just don't throw him the
Yeah.
ball.
And that's what I've heard his name a couple times, and I'm thinking about it from the viewpoint of, well, as we'll talk about, the Devontae Adams is off the market. Amari Cooper off the market.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley is still there, but his
Same with
talks.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh yeah, and also Christian Kirk, who
Yeah.
obviously talks have gone down because no one's those aren't the marquee guys. Apart from DeAndre Hopkins,
Yeah.
those aren't the guys that you wanted to go after. Cooper and Adams were the 2 guys that everybody wanted. It seemed, but we have more to talk about that. But now that you're seeing the receiver markets where everyone that's on a team that's like kind of not tanking, but they're not having a good season, as we've talked about, receivers are starting to jump ship and they want out, just like Amari did in Cleveland and just like Devontae did in Las Vegas. So maybe the Saints, if they slide to 2-5, you could see.
I think
But
that's a
he's young.
definite
That's the
po-
problem. Is
yeah.
that Amari Cooper's 30 and I think Adams is 33.
33.
Yeah. So these are older guys. Olave, is he in the last year of his rookie deal, or is he in the second to last?
I think second to last.
Okay, but regardless,
yeah.
it depends. He's still young, so there's no need for him to jump ship because he doesn't really have that bidding power.
And I don't think that Chris Olave is really how long is it going to take for this Saints team to be good enough?
Yeah, especially because all their stars are aging because that
Exactly.
defense is all aging.
They're all old.
Marshawn, who is I think 28 or something, who's obviously still great. I'm not going to say
he'll
that
be
he's
good for the next couple of years.
right, but he's up in that age.
He's hitting his peak.
Yeah, around the 30-year range is for corners is when they typically say you see a decline in play. And we've seen a lot of corners, Josh Norman being one of them, and other guys like AJ.
Was crazy.
A lot of guys like AJ Boye, guys like that.
Stephon Gilmore.
Right, and even Tre'Davious White now, who we don't even speak about, who plays for the Rams, who you wouldn't.
That is crazy. I totally forgot he existed.
Right, and that's what the thing. They get to this age, and then they just really the decline is insane.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you might be able to see, but I don't necessarily want to say that Marshawn Lattimore will have that because I like Marshawn Lattimore, and I think that he's been super solid his entire career.
Oh yeah.
But you have to, if you're a New Orleans GM, you have to think, are we a year or two away from competing for a Super Bowl?
I don't think that they are.
Or do we need to just blow the ship up now and spend the next 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
rebuilding?
I have something in Rattler, but if you really want to invest in Rattler, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 more years. And I don't think that Olave is going to want to stick around and be bad for 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah, I agree. And same with Kamara, because Kamara's getting up there in age as well.
Yeah, I mean, Kamara's pretty much at the there's
Around
no way
30.
he keeps this up for the next 3 years.
Right,
He's
right.
pretty much at his end.
A lot of tread on those tires, as they say.
Yeah.
Next game, though, okay, so just to have this wrapped up, you got Saints under 37.
Saints over.
Saints over 37 and a half. I'm taking Broncos, and I'll go with the over as well.
Okay.
The next game, I severely think that the NFL does not want fans in London, England, or any version of England. There's no way, because they said, you know what, another Jags game.
Okay, well, you
another
know what?
Jags game.
I don't think that the NFL knew the Jags would be this bad when they made the
But
schedule.
3 straight weeks of Jaguar football running rampant in London. What are we doing? 3 straight weeks. How is that the same team? 3 weeks. It's
Have
like they're
they
trying
played?
to unite a country behind. Yes. It was
The
Jags.
Jags?
It was Jags
They
Titans.
played, Jags Titans. That was in London? Oh.
Yeah, and then it was Jags Bears, and now it's Jags Patriots, and Like,
They're gonna
what
need a
are
green.
we?
Those players are gonna need a green card if they
Yeah,
just
dude.
stay over there.
What are we doing? This is absurd. And this, I don't understand. They're like trying to unite the country behind Jags, and everyone's
I
just
don't
like,
know, like out of all of the teams, you're gonna send the
Jacksonville?
Jaguars. They're such an irrelevant NFL team. They're
Yeah.
they're such a young franchise, and they have like nothing accomplished.
yeah. And they were supposed to be somewhat explosive this year, and we
that's-
haven't seen it.
Jeez.
But this is a battle of 1-5.
Yeah.
So the Patriots are 1-5, the Jags are 1-5.
Yeah, and I'd like to call out anybody who catches the ball from the Jaguars. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Can you not catch the ball?
Well, Brian Thomas is a guy that you were super high on.
And he did have that really bad drop
Yeah.
in the end zone. But, I mean, even everybody, like Christian Kirk was dropping them.
Yes.
I think Evan Ingram dropped an easy one.
Gabe Davis dropped
Gabe
2.
Davis dropped 2?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
You weren't
yeah.
doing this in Buffalo.
Yeah. And that's a tough thing to, because a lot of people obviously 1-5, they're blaming
Trevor Lawrence.
right, and they're saying that he is not the quarterback everybody thought
Like,
he
man,
was.
if your receivers can't catch, I mean, what are you supposed to do?
But even through, this is the crazy thing that I saw, and I think it was even last season towards the tail end, whenever he was picking it up, they said like through the first 60 career starts of a career,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence had almost identical stats through the first 60 starts in a career.
Yeah, if you're Trevor Lawrence,
That's not a good company.
Someone
Yeah, not at all. And that's a thing that we've seen this year is that it's not. I mean, you obviously can't put blame all on him, especially with these 4 touchdown drops that accounted for at least 28 points. Right? You never know, but yeah, it's not good for the Jags, and I think you will see a coaching change. And I know Doug Peterson had his run with the Eagles and everything, and everyone liked him.
And he was good the first year he was there.
Right, but now I think you're just starting to see
because there's just so much talent on this roster.
it's imploding.
And how is it this bad? Like,
Yeah,
I don't understand. I get it has to be the coaching.
you'd
Because I
think.
don't think that Trevor
Underperforming
Lawrence
this way?
is that bad.
Right.
And he has the weapons. Maybe it's the offensive line. I don't know. I don't watch Jaguars games.
Yeah, right. Nobody really does anymore.
Nobody does.
No, there was
Except for the people in London.
and the people that have fantasy owners, and that's what I want to talk about is because this ETN, what happened with ETN over the past week, oh my gosh, had every fantasy owner up in arms. Travis Etienne finished the game with negative 0.1 point, and I don't think he got injured. They just kept giving the ball to Tank Bigsby.
I like Tank.
I do too, but it was like I don't know what was good.
I should probably use ETN a little bit more.
Right, and like what you said is that you don't watch Jags games. I don't either, but I think the main thing is that he wasn't injured. He's not listed with an injury. He didn't go out of the game with an injury. He didn't leave the game with any sort of anything. He just didn't get the ball, and whatever. If he did get the ball, he didn't do anything with it.
I like ETN. I loved him at Clemson.
Right.
He was a great running back. I mean, like he's not. He can also catch the ball.
Yeah.
He's not strictly a running back.
They had the Clemson connection. That's why they went and drafted him the next year. But it's not worked out to this point. I think it does work in their favor in London.
Ooh, good. I'm also taking Jags.
I think the Jags can beat the Patriots. But I don't know though because Drake May did look.
He did look good.
That's the thing. And I don't know how you don't think if you're anybody in New England or you're a New England coaching staff member, whatever. I don't know how you look at Jacoby Brissett and say, "Yeah, I'm going to roll with him over my rookie quarterback that I drafted top 10."
But look what they did with Mac Jones. They started Mac Jones day one, did they not?
Yeah, but that's Alabama quarterbacks.
And look how that turned out.
I shouldn't say that. That was the era of Alabama quarterback when they like the Blake Sims, the AJ McCarron, the Mac Jones, the Alabama quarterbacks that really weren't that great of a quarterback.
Look at Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold both started day one, and look how they turned out.
Right, and you could say the same for Joe Burrow. That's if it's just it's who can handle being thrown into the fire.
I think it's more proven that if you sit them behind a veteran, they tend to play better career wise. I think
Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
Kenny Pickett.
There's always going to be outliers. Okay.
Outliers. It's not an outlier. That's what the last guy that got sat behind somebody.
Nothing
was
is
Kenny
perfect.
Pickett.
Nothing is perfect. Nothing and there'll be outliers like Jaden Daniels, who will come in and he'll start and he'll be very good.
C.J. Stroud.
Okay.
In the same draft class, Bryce Young, who got thrown into the fire, but a terrible team and sucked.
Yeah, but
this is a terrible team. This New England team.
It's a very bad team.
Right. So whatever spark you can bring, there needed to be a change, and there needs to be some sort of fire. Jacoby
Yeah.
Brissett is the most bland quarterback next to Joe Flacco in the
And
entire
Aiden
NFL.
O'Connell.
Correct. I could agree with that. And you bring in a guy like Drake May, who's feisty, fiery, young guy who obviously wants to come in and compete and win.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting the job done though. And
I think he can have a good game, but I don't think they're gonna win.
that's what I'm with the Jags here.
Yeah, so
but
am
I don't think the Jags defense is where it needs to be. And I know that they have a couple of guys on the stat sheet that pop out to you, but I think as a whole, this could be a game where you see offensive dueling.
Possibly. I mean,
And this is I was my score prediction that I remembered from the Steeler game was pretty much spot on.
it was close. It was very close.
I said 31-10 and it was 32-13.
Yeah, it was very, very close.
Right. But the Patriots Jags, if I had to give a score prediction, and the total line or the total points scored line is 42.5.
Okay.
I'm going to say it'll be Jags 27, and I'm going to say Patriots 20, and it's going to be a Jags win, and it'll be the over of the point total.
Okay. I'm gonna take the under.
Okay, and then
Yeah,
your winner
I'm
is the
also
Jags.
with Jags. Yep.
And then so then what would your game look like for this Jags Patriots?
I'd go 21-17 Jags.
And then that would be 3 touchdowns for the Jags you're giving them.
Yeah.
And that's it, no field goals.
No.
They're that efficient in the red zone that they're going to score 3
No,
touchdowns.
I think that they'll go to the red zone and they'll just
fail.
No, they'll just like they
Turn the ball over, go for it on 4th down.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like they go like 5 times
Mhm.
and then they score 3 touchdowns, but the other 2 they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
We're 1-5. What is a field goal going to do? We're going to go for it on 4th down.
Okay.
And they don't get it.
Okay.
Or
and
maybe
then, and then if they do that and lose the game, Peterson's out. I think Peterson
if
is
they
right
lose-
there on getting fired.
If they lose this game, he's done.
You think?
I think
okay,
so.
okay, because if it's 1-5 and 1-5, and yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Our next matchup is Titans Bills, and
This is a pretty easy.
yeah,
pick.
Titans are severe underdogs.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy game. I mean, I was gonna say I don't have a ton of confidence in that Bills wide receiver core, but they just got Amari Cooper,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be a deadly combination. him
Right, and it depends
Josh
on how
Allen.
much he can play this week, though.
Yeah, because he's got to come in. He's got to learn the playbook.
Right, and the routes and
Yeah.
stuff. But I think receiver is one of those positions where you can pretty much play the next
Yeah.
week, and everyone's expecting Devontae Adams to play, especially with Rodgers because they already have a connection.
Yeah.
But I think you can also safely attribute that Amari Cooper will come in and get certified reps.
Yes,
at
definitely.
receiver. So this is the biggest underdog. Yes, the biggest
makes sense.
odds of the entire week.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm not doubting that either. I don't know, because there's a lot about Josh Allen that like scares me to bet for him, because he just likes to play Brett Favre style quarterback, where he's just going to sling it and he's going
Yeah.
to take those risks, and sometimes it burns him. And
Mhm.
we've seen the Bills do things like losing to teams that are far inferior to them because of their mental mistakes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We haven't really seen. Have we seen a thrashing from the Bills yet? Have the Bills like destroyed somebody? And I know their team just got a whole lot better with Amari Cooper, and I'm never
Yeah.
going to doubt that, because that's your certified
Wide
number one
receiver
guy,
one, yeah.
right? And he's having a great year in Cleveland with
that
one of the
quarterback
worst
situation.
quarterbacks
Oh,
of
my
all
Lord.
time. Yeah.
Props to him for like sticking with that as long as he did.
Right.
And continuing to play.
And that's another thing I want to talk about Deshaun Watson about. We'll get to that in the Browns segment. But
they beat the Dolphins 31-10. That was the Tua-led Dolphins. That was the game he
Okay.
got injured. So they beat him 31-10. That was in Miami too.
okay,
So
that wasn't
do with
too
that
bad.
what you will.
Yeah. So we're both going to go Bills, yeah. 41.5 points scored total. I think if you I'm going to say the Bills could do that on their own.
That's why I'm taking the over. I think the
Okay.
Bills are going to score like 38, and then the
Titans
Titans
chip
can
in a
get
couple.
like 3 field goals
Yeah,
or
yeah,
2
yeah.
field goals. So I'm going to take the over.
Yeah. I'll agree with you. Yeah, we both got the Bills on that one. I think this is going to be a really good game, and I'm actually surprised by this. First off, it's Texans-Packers,
I think it's also going to be a good game.
but Houston is the underdogs.
Yeah, you know what? I understand that because they're going into Lambeau.
Texans are 5-1, Houston's 4. Texans are 5-1, and the Packers
Packers.
are 4-2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have Texans here. I've just, even with Nico Collins going down,
Right.
I think that lets Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs
Mhm.
get a whole lot more touches because they're both very talented.
And I think Mixon was a little bit dinged up, wasn't he? Like he wasn't. I don't think he was out, but I think he had a little like
Yeah.
a nagging injury that he
Yeah,
was.
because he just came back from injury.
Yeah, he
I
was
think it
like
was a
deal-
hamstring, wasn't it?
Okay.
I think it might have been.
I'll say it was something that
Don't
he.
quote me
It
on
was
that.
something that he was like dealing with. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a detrimental. He's gonna be out.
Yeah.
But like because this Nico Collins, he's done for the year, isn't he? He's
Yeah, they put him on the IR.
Yeah.
He's done,
and
which sucks.
yeah,
But
but now you see a Texans team who can let Stephon Diggs come in and
Mhm.
be who Stephon Diggs is and
Yeah.
be the receiver one.
Yep, and I really like Jordan Love. I like what he's doing there. I did not think he'd be this good. He proved me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a shootout. But
Mhm.
I think that in the end, I trust C.J. Stroud more than I trust Jordan Love.
And this is the tough thing is, do the Texans have the secondary necessary to cover the 4 or 5 very solid Packers receiving options? And that's the thing, because we talked about Romeo Doubs, we did, and that
Yeah.
he was mad with how his target share was
Like,
getting.
dude, you're like the 5th wide receiver
Right.
on that team,
And then
he's still serviceable.
And then they go and they gave him 2 touchdowns
Yeah.
over the weekend. So obviously they're trying to get everybody involved, and it's Matt LaFleur, who's a great a great coach,
offensive mind, yeah.
right, for sure. And this Texans defense, although it is young, obviously has the talent necessary
Oh yeah, definitely.
to keep up with everybody.
Mhm.
So now the question becomes, can you handle one of the better NFC teams as an AFC team? And this could be, I mean, not necessarily I'm going to say this season. I don't have the guts to say that, but this could be a future Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah,
With the way,
I mean,
with the way
if
both teams are playing and how young they are, and if they can keep everybody on
this,
the team.
yeah, I could, as long as injuries don't ruin anybody's career, this
Right.
could definitely be a potential future, Super Bowl matchup.
Right. And I think I want to give the Texans the edge here. I
Mhm.
do. Because I just think Stroud's a better quarterback,
Mhm.
but this Packers defense has been very good. They have the league leader in interceptions. Xavier McKinney comes
Yeah, they
over
do.
from New York, has
Yep.
6 interceptions through 6 games.
Mhm.
So that's obviously huge for them. Not even including Jair and whoever else they have in the back end, and their pass rush has always been
Yeah,
very
I mean,
good.
Rashawn Gary,
Right.
and then
They
I
also
like,
have Van Ness, who comes off,
yeah.
who's like a rotational edge rusher who they took in the first round. But
Yeah, and then they have Quay Walker,
right,
who is
yeah,
up and down, but I like him.
and they have an interior guy who's really good. And
Kenny Clark.
I was gonna say, yeah, he just stuffs all my inside runs.
He's
on
just
Madden.
very consistent.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
I don't know. It's tough because the Texans' offensive line isn't great. It's not.
Yeah, but I think it's good
enough.
enough.
It can get the job done.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. It's 47.5 as the total point line, and I'm gonna take the over. And I definitely think this game's gonna be upwards of 30 scored for each team.
Yep, I agree with you there.
And I'm gonna take the Packers.
Okay, you got Packers over. I got Texans over.
Yeah.
All
right. Also, there was something to be said about the Texans. C.J. Stroud, is he going to be a front runner for MVP? Because here's the thing.
You know what?
Here's the thing that I wanted to tell you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Just cherry pick stats. C.J. Stroud and Justin Fields. Player composition, and these are cherry pick stats.
Mm-hmm.
Total yards, Justin Fields has the edge on him. Total touchdowns, Justin Fields has the edge on him. Rating, Justin Fields has the edge on him.
That's kind of crazy. There's no way
Yes.
that is true.
Yes.
There's just
total yards.
that cannot be true. I get
total yards
with
and
the
total
rushing,
touchdowns. Yep.
But there's no
Yes.
way that he
Yes.
has a better QBR.
No, not it's a rating.
Oh, he has a better rating. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna check.
And I don't know what the difference between quarterback rating and rating is.
Neither
but,
do I.
And
but
it's the same for and less interceptions.
he does not have a better rating.
Then
According to ESPN, C.J. Stroud is 12th with a 98.6 rating. Justin Fields is 15th with a 93.9.
then it was total yards, it was total touchdowns, and it was less interceptions because he only has one.
Yeah.
And it's the same for Mahomes. He has
He has
more.
has just been bad.
He has more total yards,
Dude,
more
you could
total
say that with
touchdowns.
anybody.
But that's the thing too is that, and he's getting benched. Just like, and that's the thing I
But
know.
we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna get into that.
And that's the thing is I'm not even for sure ready to say that he's going to get benched because that's not been confirmed or denied because Tomlin doesn't like to pick a side, but there are reports And someone else did the math, and I had it in my phone that I was looking at.
Does he really have 6 rushing touchdowns? There's no way.
Fields?
Yes.
He has 5
Okay, then they're tied.
for total because he has 5 passing and 5 rushing. Well, if did it say 6 on ESPN?
He has 5 passing, 5 receiving, or 5 rushing, and then C.J. Stroud has 10 passing. I don't think he has any rushing, so I think they're tied. But even the fact that they're tied with total touchdowns is still he doesn't have a rushing touchdown. But even the fact that they're tied is still kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And you're right, that's cherry pick, but it's still crazy.
Yeah, and especially if you factor in and this is another super cherry picked thing that I saw talked about. It was by Dan Orlovsky, and he had this idea. He talked about this idea of saved yards. So the idea. So I don't know if you saw the play. There was a play in the game on Sunday for the Steelers where the ball was snapped and Broderick Jones doesn't get out of his stance, and it's Max Crosby on him.
Okay.
So he almost treats it as if it's like a draw where he just stands still and doesn't move. Max Crosby, free rush off the edge, nobody blocks him. Fields ducks under him and then runs for a 14-yard gain. He called that 21 yards.
Yeah, that's
21 saved yards because it should have been a 7-yard sack that he turned into a 14-yard
I don't like
rush.
that. That's
Me neither.
That's a stupid stat.
Right, it's a stretch, but he said he had over 150 saved yards, which is absurd.
That is absurd.
But it's
I don't like that stat. But
here's the thing, though. That's why that he thinks that Russell Wilson should be benched in favor of Fields is because Russell Wilson couldn't evade those sacks.
Yeah, I don't think any reasonable Steelers fan with any kind of football knowledge knows that Justin Fields should remain the starter. I think that any common sense football fan for the Steelers should know that.
Well, then why does the head coach not agree with you? Well, for the most part, I think there's a lot of business and semantics that are going into this situation, and I think that's bull crap.
They're 4-2.
Fields. Right.
They're 4-2.
Right.
It's the best start they've had since 2020.
Something 11-0 when the Steelers went 11-0. Yeah.
Come on now.
And here's another thing to think about, and we'll get off this topic, I promise. Last notion on this is that I agree with the idea that you should not lose your position to injury. And they did name him the starter week 1 or week 0 or whatever it was. And he was named the starter, and he was banged up, air quotes, in whatever capacity that was. So he shouldn't lose his position to injury, but at the same time, your backup came in and
played well.
Yeah, right. But that was Texans-Packers. I went Packers over. You went Texans over.
Correct.
Now we're going to go to Eagles-Giants. This is obviously a very big game in terms of the NFC and how that's stacking out because there's a lot of unknowns in the NFC other than the Vikings are for real. Giants are underdogs here. 42.5 total points scored is the line, but they're only underdogs by they're up there in the same way that Miami and the Colts and Miami's the underdog, and they're in the same sense of how it's a very tight underdog odd.
And I'm taking the Eagles here without much without thinking
because their whole team's
much.
back.
Yeah, and also because Andrew Thomas is done for the year.
Right.
With that, is it Lisfranc? Is that what it's called?
It was his foot, whatever it was with his foot.
I think it's called a Lisfranc, and he's done for the year. So that's a massive blow to the Giants. That's
even with Neighbors coming back.
Even with Neighbors coming, that's a season-ending injury for the team.
Right.
You need him there. He's a cornerstone.
Yeah.
And that's really the reason why I didn't really think about this that much.
And I'm with you.
Yeah. I just
and
Jalen
the Giants'
Hurts,
defense isn't really.
Their pass rush is very good though. I really like their
Sexy
pass rush.
Dexy
Dexy and you got 3 very good rotational guys. You got Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
You've got Osholari, and then you've got Brian Burns. I like all 3 of them. I think they're all very good. But everybody else is
Yeah, in the back end, and we talked about Simmons and how he had the game-winning blocked field goal for the Seattle game, and I think we've done, or maybe not we, but I have definitely underrated this Giants team. I thought they were one of the worst in the league.
I completely underrated them.
Yeah. Then they get Neighbors back from a concussion, and he's going to do what he's been doing, I'm sure. And they're going to force feed him in his first game back. And we've seen the Philadelphia Eagles get burnt in coverage at times.
Absolutely.
And I know that they got good production out of their rookie guys, Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, as DeJean was down for the first part of the year, but now he's coming back and he's looking like he's a serviceable cornerback as he did at Iowa.
Yeah. Also, let's get Let's get C.J. Gardner-Johnson out of that lineup. Get him out of the lineup.
I never really liked him that much. He just
I
talks
liked
a
him in
whole
New
lot.
Orleans. I really did.
Well, I think he was more tame in New Orleans. When he went to Philly is whenever he became
An idiot.
the jag that everybody just doesn't like,
Yeah.
and he's continuing
How
that
do you
persona.
trash an organization and then go to a different and then go back to that?
Yeah,
how does that?
right.
Like, how do you?
I don't know.
I don't understand, but you know.
I'm with you on the Eagles train. I think I could see Saquon doing numbers, and I
Absolutely.
I also think Jahan Dotson's going to have a coming out game.
Really?
Yeah, he has not had his game where he's like, I was really good on that bad Commanders team.
I did like him there.
Right, and he was good on a bad Commanders team,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's on I would say should be good Eagles team.
Yeah, but the only problem is
There's too many mouths.
There's too many mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Like he is. I would say he's the 5th receiving option on that team.
Behind
A.J.
Saquon out of the
Brown.
backfield.
I would put
My
Saquon
God.
over him. I would legitimately put Saquon over Jahan Dotson.
Oh my goodness.
I think Jalen Hurts, if he's got Saquon open and he's got Jahan Dotson open, I think he hits Saquon.
Yeah, depending on where the routes are, but yeah, if it's a
he's
deep
the
ball to
5th
Jahan,
receiver,
yeah. We don't have to talk much about it anymore. I'm going Eagles over. I'm imagining you're going Eagles over.
Eagles over. Yep.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be a really good game.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very good.
Lions Vikings.
Yeah, and I think that
The Vikings get their first loss of the year.
I'm
Say
with you
it.
here.
Let's
I am
go.
with you here.
Let's
I
go.
think that Sam Darnold kind of got a little bit exposed in London
Mm.
playing the Jets. He didn't have his MVP caliber game.
He's not MVP.
He's not an MVP.
They're never going to give it to him.
I'm not saying that he
No,
will
I know.
never have a good game.
Yeah.
But like his MVP his league
candidate,
is over.
yeah.
His candidacy is over.
Right, and if Sam Darnold is the MVP of our league, it's wraps for that season.
Pack up the NFL. We're starting over. Get the fantasy draft.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. That's what we're saying to them. But this is the thing, and this is the new McVay is Ben Johnson. He's the offensive coordinator for the Lions, and
Dude's been cooking up
and
some
yes,
bangers over
some
there.
devious activities with getting the linemen involved just to be disrespectful to Dallas, coming off of their 50-point performance, which was absurd. Thrashing the Cowboys. And the Lions are talking about how good this offense is, not only because of their star players like Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and their
Laporta.
and their
the
two-headed
running
back
attack.
Right. Yeah. So there is a lot of talent there, but it's also scheme.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how this Vikings defensive scheme has been so great, and I've been waiting for someone to figure it out. And
I think it could be the Lions.
And I think I think the Vikings are coming off of a bye.
They are.
So they have had
time.
Yes, to prep for this Lions team. I guarantee you their eyes were glued to the Cowboys game, and the Lions, I don't want to say they emptied the clip, right? Because I don't know what's in their bag. But they did a lot. They showed a lot.
They kind of pulled out all the stops.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They had to do a lot to beat the Cowboys that badly because they just wanted to run it up on them so bad that they ended up showing a lot of their playbook, I think, and a lot of trick plays or a lot of off motions and their different passing patterns out of what they were running.
But the thing is, this is the first time that the Vikings are really playing like a run-dominant team that can actually run the ball, and they can run the ball efficiently. They have 2 running backs.
Right.
Very, very good.
Thunder and lightning. But here's the thing, though. They're not just a run-dominant team.
Yeah.
Because Goff is competent.
He can light it up.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
what I'm saying is they've played the Giants, who had Devin Singletary.
Right.
They had the 49ers, who had Jordan Mason. They played the Texans. I don't think if Joe Mixon was playing, I don't think he didn't do that much. They played the Packers. Josh Jacobs he's been okay.
Right.
And then Breece Hall has been underwhelming.
Right.
Those are the 5 running backs they've played. Now they get to play Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Right.
They're
going to see a much more talented backfield.
Plus this offensive line is good.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Yeah. And the receiving core as well. It's you could put it up there for one of the deepest just based off production.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know there's the Bears receiver room, and then we've talked about the Packers who are more. They don't have any superstars, but they have a really good serviceable people, and the Eagles have a great receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of production, Jamison Williams is cementing himself as one of the best receivers in the league, and Amon-Ra just did it last year.
Yep.
So now you have 2 of the best receivers that we've seen so far,
and honestly, one of the top 10 tight ends in the NFL.
Right, Sam Laporta, especially with
arguably
receiving.
top 5.
Right, especially with his receiving threat. And as bad as some of the tight ends have been doing this year. Mark Andrews specifically.
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, right. Honorary six linemen or whatever the heck they say. This is what's tough because I want to say the Lions win this game, but here's the thing: 49.5 is
That's a ton of points.
Yes, and the Vikings haven't given up more than like 20 the entire season.
Yep.
So I don't know. Because Goff, and as well as he's been doing, Goff has in his past been known to throw some pretty airhead
questionable
yes,
balls, yeah.
made some pretty airhead decisions and made some bad ideas, and it's going to be on their preparation a lot this week to see if they can figure out this Vikings offense. I really do think, though, it's going to be an implosion because I think if someone finds out how to beat this Vikings defense, someone in the NFL is going to see it on film, and then they're just going to be you're going to have the answer.
The floodgates open.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, and especially because we've talked about the Vikings scheme. They just play so aggressive, and they take so many risks, and they make up for it somehow in the back end of the plays whenever they're going against passing concepts with their blitzes and who they drop out into coverages and their disguise blitzes and who they show 8 on the line and drop 4, and it's maybe you get a corner blitz whenever your safety was showing. There's a lot of different stuff that they do, and it's confusing, and it's meant to just you have to alert to different blitzers, but you don't know who's coming and you don't know who's dropping, and they've even been known to drop defensive linemen into coverage and send a linebacker. It's like it's replacement technique, but it's tough because you don't know what's coming. So you can see any different thing up front, but you don't know who's coming.
There could be 8 guys in the box,
Right.
and you're like, okay,
They're
3 of these guys are coming. Which one of them are coming?
Right. And I don't know if they've sent ever not rushed a defensive lineman, but could you imagine if you just saw like a safety, a linebacker, and a corner coming at you, and then you just dropped out your edge rushers into the flats? Like, that'd be crazy.
That would confuse me so much. I'm like, what are they doing here?
Yeah. Especially with how athletic Dallas Turner is. Dallas Turner can make a play on a football.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a freak athletically.
Right. I'm going to go Lions, and I'm going to go under points total.
Ooh, I'm going Lions over.
Oh, okay. All right. Vikings are going to win that game, aren't they? Vikings are going to
probably.
Watch it be a ref showdown. It be a
Probably.
ref showdown, and something bad happens to the Lions.
But
and, it's like how they say about the Chiefs, how the Chiefs they're getting given games because of whatever. I think you might see that from the Vikings now that they're 5-0, but I'm not sure.
But I want to say one more thing before we move away from the Lions is that they just paid Alim McNeil.
Right.
They gave him an extension, 4 years, $55 million.
Why?
That's
He's
my question.
He's not that great,
He's
right?
2.5 sacks.
Yeah.
In 6 games.
Well, you need him now. Oh, that's the thing we didn't talk about Hutchinson. He's out for the year, and everyone knew that when you saw
but
it.
Even I don't know why you're paying him.
Right.
You have to pay Jamison Williams. You have to pay Laporta. You have to pay Gibbs. You're gonna have to eventually give Penei Sewell another extension.
They'll let Gibbs walk.
I don't agree with that. I mean, you're gonna if Terrion Arnold turns out to be a great player, you're gonna have to give him a contract.
Right.
You're gonna have to
And
give
he's
Hutch a
playing well, too.
contract. You're gonna have to give all these, and you can't just be throwing this kind of money to an average defensive tackle when these guys are replaceable.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm with you.
They're gonna run out of money, and I guess they're really just going all in.
Yeah.
For this year and possibly next year.
I'm
But
changing my mind. I'm going Vikings.
You're gonna change it to Vikings
I'm
after
going
my
Vikings.
spiel.
Not only because I forgot that Hutch broke his leg.
Yeah.
That defense is going to look a little bit different without
It
Hutch.
will, but I think the Lions. Well, we're gonna move off. We talked about it enough.
Seahawks, Falcons. This is
Never again will I pick the Seahawks. Absolute frauds.
This is
Ruin my Giants game.
This is tied for the second highest, or this is tied for first highest point total in the entire.
Is it tied with the Lions and the Vikings?
It's tied with Panthers Commanders.
Why
They just think the Commanders are going to beat the ever-living crap out of the Panthers. That's what I'd imagine.
Oh, wow, okay.
But it's Seahawks, Falcons. Falcons are 4-2. Why? Seahawks are 3-3. Yeah, the Seahawks should have beat the Giants. That's just a fact of knowledge. They should have beaten the Giants.
I mean, on paper they should have beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But this is the NFL, and
You can't. Yeah, you don't know
Geno
anything
Smith
anymore.
is washed, and
I think he's still like third in the NFL for passing yards.
that's because they play from behind and they need him to throw the ball.
There's my dad texted me. He's like, so you see the Cooper and Adams trades, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, time to go get DK. I'm like, boy, what are you talking about? I was like, ain't no way. They're not giving up DK.
He is actually first
He's still
in
first?
passing yards by like 150
Okay.
yards.
Okay.
But like, how are you not first with DK,
I thought he got
Tyler
dethroned by
Lockett?
Baker. I thought Baker had 1,500. I just looked at it this morning. Does Baker not have 1,500?
Gino is 1,700.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
He is lighting it up.
Okay.
Yeah, Baker has 1,500.
And 15 touchdowns.
Baker,
He's
he
the
is
league.
leading by
Yeah.
3 touchdowns.
He's the NFL lead in touchdowns.
Yeah. But we'll get to that later.
Seahawks, Falcons. For right now,
Yeah.
I'm
taking
gonna-
Falcons.
I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Wow,
because-
you're really going to trust
yes,
the Seahawks
Because Kirk Cousins is a statue, and I think the Seahawks pass rush will get to him. I think, like I saw in the Steelers game, whenever he feels pressure,
Mhm.
he does not handle it well. He does not stand in the pocket and deliver nice throws. He gets timid, he gets antsy, and he forces it into windows that aren't there. I'm telling you right now, he will throw an interception, and they might lose the game, or they might win the game. The Falcons might. But I guarantee you that he will throw an interception directly into Tariq Woolen's hands.
I could see that. And the only reason I'm picking the Falcons is because they're hot. The offense is very hot.
Pause. I'm just kidding. Anyways.
There was no need for that, but
But here's the thing, though. They okay. So we're not gonna say that Kadarius Hodge is Kadarius Hodge because that game
that's
where he
a
had like
fluke.
right exactly.
Absolute fluke.
They have London, they have Bijan, and they have Pitts. Pitts has been known.
And they have Darnell Mooney.
He's another one. He's better than he's better than Hodge, and I'll say that for sure. But
Okay,
he
hold
is,
on. Darnell Mooney is an above-average receiver. Above average, and he's
above
he
average.
is. I think he's a solid wide receiver too.
He's a B- receiver.
I'd give him a B
Okay.
or a B plus.
But you're going against Witherspoon, Woolen,
I
and
understand that, but like
Diggs in the back end,
you're also going against Bijan.
and Jordan Brooks.
Like,
Is Jordan
who-
Brooks still playing? Oh no,
I don't
he moved on. He got signed.
Yeah.
Um,
I think just the Falcons offense is hot right now, and I think that Bates and Simmons are really gonna
Okay.
give Geno fits.
I could see it. And obviously AJ Terrell, who has been known at times,
They get toasted,
right? Not.
but I
not
still think he's a very good.
yeah, I agree. So you're going Falcons. I'm going Seahawks, and this 51.5. I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the over.
Wow, a lot
I'm
of
going,
points for you.
I'm going big.
I think you've taken the over a lot. I think almost all of your games.
The only game I've taken the under is Patriots Jags.
Okay, that makes sense. Now here we go. This is a big deal. AFC North matchup. Bengals Browns.
Yeah. This isn't really something that we need to talk about a lot because this is going to be a pretty. I don't think this is going to be very competitive.
Really?
No.
I guess in terms of the Bengals, you're saying.
The Bengals are going
Bengals
to
are
beat
gonna-
them by like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Seriously, you think it's
I
that bad?
really believe that. Who is Deshaun Watson going to throw to now? He no longer has Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And even when he
Elijah
had
Moore.
Amari Cooper, he was a terrible quarterback.
Chief Njoku.
You lose your best receiver. How do you even become a better quarterback after losing your best receiver?
Did you see the stats for him on his third down conversions?
I don't even want to look because I bet they're atrocious.
It was since they traded for him or whatever.
Mhm.
He's 0 for 38 on third down conversions.
How is that
They
even
have not converted
How
a third
is that
down.
even possible?
It was either 0 for 38 or 0 for 28. I think it might have been 0 for 28, but maybe it was this season as well. They haven't converted a third down.
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, I know. And he was out of like in terms of I think quarterback rating or completion
Isn't he like
percentage or something.
32nd or something like that?
Not even in the league. This was like out of all quarterbacks that have played a game in the NFL since 2020.
Okay,
He was
wait.
like 556th out of 563. He was almost dead last out of 563 quarterbacks. And
Okay, that's cherry picked. That's cherry picked.
what do you mean?
Dude,
He's that
okay,
bad.
500. Okay, you're gonna come
Josh
in. And
McCown.
you're gonna come in and tell me that when
Kevin Cole. That wasn't 2020, but
when,
that's an old
when
guy.
it's some bum from whatever team,
Brian Hoyer.
when a 6th round pick comes in garbage time and throws like 4 passes for like 81 yards,
Jason Campbell.
he's being put ahead of Deshaun Watson. I'm all for Deshaun Watson slander.
Yeah.
I hate him. He's a terrible person.
Yeah.
He's worse at playing,
Right.
but that's a cherry pick stat.
You know what? He's also been sacked 31 times this year. He's been the most sacked.
Good
quarterback.
for him. Good
But-
for him.
Okay, but do you see how whenever Justin and I love Justin Fields, but whenever Justin Fields was getting sacked, or maybe it was Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow the Super Bowl season, He
was
got
getting
sacked like
mauled back there.
50 or 60 times.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, how can you expect Joe Burrow to be great whenever he's getting sacked this many times?
Yeah,
Of course
and
he's going to play bad.
It's crazy how much money they've invested in that offensive line in Cleveland.
For it to still be bad.
Be terrible.
Yeah.
Draft picks, free
So,
agency. It's crazy.
you can't blame it all on Deshaun Watson.
Oh, no, I am. I am because
You just don't like him. That's all.
I know, but like if you're a tackle, all right.
Do you want to block for that guy?
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're a tackle and
you
you're
might want to go to a massage parlor with him. But
I have Tennessee, the
Okay.
Titans, and I have Cleveland. They're both offering me the same amount of money. You know what? Even Cleveland might be offering me a little bit more, but I am literally blocking for the worst person in the entire NFL.
You'd rather block for the Mayo Man.
I would rather block for Will Levis, the Mayo Man himself, than I would for
Cannon Giannetta, Will Levis.
I wouldn't even want to be associated with that guy.
Bro, he's definitely. Do you think they've all seen the vids in the Titans locker room? They have.
That video is getting passed around.
So is she though.
I was just about to say like she was.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Giannetta.
But hey, I mean Will Levis. I mean I'm not
Hit
gonna
Ben up. Giannetta, hit Ben up. If you're if you're listening,
swear.
Ben's a single man. Anyways, I'm with you on the Bengals. I don't know. No, I'm not.
What do you mean? No, you're not.
Browns are gonna win this game.
Yeah. Okay. You know what?
I'm not kidding. I'm not
What do you
kidding.
mean you're not kidding?
I'm not kidding. The Browns are gonna win this football game.
Browns are not gonna win this football game.
That pass rush is going to get through to Joe Burrow.
I don't care.
And the defense for the Browns will win this football game.
The defense has been bad for the Browns. It just hasn't been very good.
But on paper.
Okay, do you know how many times we've said on paper these teams should be winning and they're not
but that's
winning?
the thing. It's going to happen at some point. And I think I'm picking that it's
It
going
might
to
happen
this
eventually.
week.
It's not going to happen in this game.
It'll happen this week.
Okay, I'm taking Bengals under.
Because Yoshavash is not going to do.
Yoshi
is not going to do what he's been doing. Jamar Chase is great, but I think
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins will cook whoever is on them, even if it's Denzel Ward.
Yeah, who I think has seen enough of these guys to know what's going to happen. Their safeties are decent playing. Their linebackers, JOK, it's one of the better coverage linebackers in the entire NFL.
Yeah, but again,
and Myles Garrett and whoever's on the other side of him, I keep forgetting whether it's Zadarius Smith or whoever.
it is Zadarius Smith, yeah,
And
who
then
is washed. But
They've got
still,
the Michigan tackle who beat his girlfriend. I don't remember his name, but
yeah,
whatever.
but he's in jail. Or Michael Hall.
whatever.
He's from Ohio State. He got arrested.
That one.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they don't have a Michigan
but like
D tackle, but
they gave up 33 points
and
to
Chubb's
the,
back.
to the Cowboys.
Big Chubb's back.
Okay, this really doesn't swayed me, but
The Bengals defense is not that good.
I understand that. But
And I know
still.
Deshaun Watson sucks, okay, and I'm not gonna bury that fact because he does suck and he's not good. But there is going to be a time where this Browns team snaps out of it,
It's okay.
and this Bengals team is not that.
That happens
good.
either against the Chargers or the Saints. Does not happen in this week or next week when they play the Ravens. It's not going to happen.
I'm telling you.
All right.
This is going to be an AFC North game. It's going to be smash mouth. It's going to be just like Steelers Ravens.
It's going to be ugly.
It's going to be
Ugly.
physical, and I
Yep.
think the Browns are going to win the physical battle.
Okay.
41.5 under.
I'm also taking the under.
Yeah. So we're just head to head on who's going to win the football game.
Pretty much.
I hope the Browns win. I hope I get to rub it in your face. I don't even. I wanted to go back and look at what my picks were from last week. I should start.
I was
writing
12
them
for
down.
14. I just want to put that out
Wow,
there. I was
really?
12 14. The only ones I got wrong, I got the Broncos Chargers wrong, and I got the Bears Jags wrong. I got everything else right.
Because the Bears won. I think I took the Bears over you, didn't I?
And I probably. I hate the Bears, so I pick against them every week. But I also pretty sure all of my over under picks were correct except for one or two. So
Oh,
I did
wow.
very well last week.
Wow.
My parlay was okay. I went 2 for 4, but
Didn't win. If your parlay has to go four for four,
I know,
or else
but,
you don't win.
like 2 for 4 is solid. Like it's not great, but like
My TJ Watt sack total messed me up because he didn't get any. He didn't even get a pressure.
yeah, my Justin Fields yards and my Aiden O'Connell interceptions really. Dude,
he threw one.
I had Najee Harris 14.5 carries under 14.5. He had 14.
Oh really?
And I had Brock Bowers over 8.5 receptions and he had 9.
That's so crazy. Oh, what a great game from Najee though. So the next game is Dolphins Colts.
Yeah, I really don't want to cover this one very much.
It's gonna be so boring.
It really
well,
is. Joe Flacco's
Colts.
gonna drag his footballs all over the Dolphins.
He's gonna drag his 3 kids that don't pay attention to his career. You ever hear him talk about that?
Yeah.
His kids like literally hate him. It's like crazy. Like, Dad, you sucked. And he's like, oh, thanks, buddy.
It's not like I won a Super Bowl or anything like that.
No. It's not like I just threw one of the best spirals in the 2010s.
Whatever
era.
the over/under is, I'm taking the under.
43.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the under. And the Colts. It's not really Dolphins.
You know what? Nah. Huntley's going to get settled in.
Okay, but the
I'm
only
just
thing I
kidding.
do want to talk about with the Dolphins is Tua said he's going to come back this year.
Oh, God.
I think that's the wrong decision. I really think that's not a good. If you want to
Bro,
play
he's
football,
got Campbell's soup in his forehead right now, literally.
if he wants to play if he wants to, I understand that he loves the game and it's his passion.
Yeah.
But if he wants to play it again, he needs to sit out this year, and he needs to reevaluate at the beginning of next season. Because if this continues, he will be paralyzed and he will ruin his life.
It depends. I don't know, because it wasn't even like he was getting that. The play they gave him the concussion this time was literally just him running on his own. And the Colts defense, what defense that we saw in the Steelers game is not what they have been playing the past couple weeks, because they came out firing against the Steelers and they looked like they were playing at a different speed.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, they have just been getting gashed.
Yeah.
But it's still Tyler Huntley, and as much as I thought Huntley would have been a good, decent, serviceable, but I thought he'd be serviceable, and he has not been anything like that. And watch this be the game that he does show out, whatever else. I'm still gonna bench Tyreek in fantasy. Yeah, I know. Yep, I'm gonna ride with you in the Colts, and it's 43.5 is the total points scored.
Taking the under.
No.
Ooh, over. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's gonna get a little bit dicey. I think probably a lot of field goals, but I think they're gonna find the end zone a couple times.
Yep.
So this Joe Flacco offense has been low key kind of. Is Rich? I thought Richardson was back. Is he not back?
I don't think he. I mean, if he's.
I think he might be set to be back this week.
I don't think we have time to really get into a AR versus a Joe Flacco debate, because I don't honestly.
I'm not saying he's better. I'm just.
Honestly,
I think
I don't know who you play. I really don't know who you play, and I don't think we have the time to really hash that out. But
we got Panthers Commanders.
Taking Commanders. This is an easy pick. Jane Daniels is playing like a top 5 quarterback.
Yep.
He's very solid.
Yep.
Panthers just aren't a good team, and that's
Yep.
just what it comes down to.
Yep.
Commanders are a better team. There's not much to say.
Deontay should be on the trade block too.
Oh yeah,
In
but they
the
just
form
got
of
him.
in the form of trading away decent receivers on a terrible team, Deontay should be on the block, and
Yeah,
I think that he'd be a guy to go after.
I don't think they'll do that because they just got him.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they're too much. And they have so much pride. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna keep this guy because we just got him.
51.5
I'm
points.
taking the over because I think that
Commanders.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the exact same as you. I'm with you
Okay.
on the Commanders over.
All
Raiders Rams.
This is also another easy one. I'm taking Rams. Aiden O'Connell's not a good quarterback. Gardner Minshew isn't that much better. I like the Rams. I like Kyron Williams. You know, they're just a better team overall. Plus no Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
You know,
That team's terrible. The Raiders
they're
team is
just not a
terrible.
good team. Yeah, it's
they could
tanking
go the
season.
rest. They could go the rest of the year only winning 1 or 2 more games.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, they're just top to
Why
bottom.
are the Rams 1-4? Stafford was like banged up a little bit, right?
Yeah, I don't think.
And then is Nakua out for the year, and Cup's been injured a little bit. And
yeah, it's just they're you know, I think everybody I think they're a very top heavy roster. I think they have a lot of very good players, and then everybody else is kind of
yeah.
I like Kyron. He's a great running back.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the Raiders couldn't stop Najee Harris, and I think they're going to see a similar problem with
Stafford's 36. He's nearing the end of his run.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper Kupp is questionable with an ankle injury, and then I do think. Give me 1 second. Where is he? I don't even see him listed on the roster.
For who are you looking for?
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, you think he's on IR. I think he's done for the year. Yeah, that happened early on.
Wow, I can't even look him up on ESPN. That's kind of crazy.
Because he has 0 stats because he hasn't played because he's been hurt all year. But
Oh, here it is. Yeah, he's on the IR. He will be out at least. He will be out at least until week 8.
yeah, so he doesn't matter for this week. But
nope.
yeah,
I'm still
I'm
taking
gonna
the
ride
Rams.
Rams. I'm gonna go under on this 43.5 total line.
So am I. I'm also gonna go under. So we both got Rams under.
Wow, see, you're just copying me.
Oh my lord.
This next one, Chiefs Niners 425. Chiefs 5-0. Raiders 49ers 3-3. This line is even. It's a Super Bowl
Wow.
rematch, and
Yeah,
they believe.
I think that the Chiefs' luck runs out here.
Yeah.
I think that their lack of weapons is really gonna bite them this game. And
Yeah.
I think that Brock Purdy's going to have a pretty good game, so I'm taking the Niners.
Wow. I got
I'm
Chiefs.
taking the Niners.
I got Chiefs 46.5. I'm going the over though.
I am going to take the under.
Dang, you don't believe. The Sunday night game matters a lot to one person in this room.
It really does, and you're
Jets,
gonna
Steelers.
hate me for this. I'm taking the Jets.
I understand. I completely understand. I'm not going to say that I agree, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are underdogs in this matchup. Barely by a smidge, they're underdogs.
I'm taking the Jets, especially if they start Russell Wilson. Especially.
And here's the thing: 38.5 total points scored line. It's one of the lowest of the week.
I'm gonna take the over.
I'm with you. If Fields starts, it's a win for the Steelers.
Okay.
I think what this matchup is going to be, and we'll talk obviously more about it on Friday. If you're going to keep listening to us, it's our 2 to 3 hour. We control the DSR Duquesne Student Radio here at Duquesne University. But for right now, all I'm going to say is that I think Fields should be the starter over Russ. I think he hasn't done enough to lose that spot.
Yep.
He has not necessarily won the Steelers any football games, but he's come very close, and I think he's done.
I'm completely with you here.
I think he's done enough, and I think he has better tools than Russell Wilson when it comes to certain aspects of playing the quarterback position.
Yep.
Obviously, Russ has a better mind in some ways, but I think Fields just has the better athletic toolbox, excuse me, than Russ.
I'm with you here. I agree with all.
But Aaron Rodgers is going to get his number one receiver. He's going to have his other number one receiver in Garrett Wilson.
That's deadly.
Right, and Breece Hall is going to probably run rampant through the Steelers because their run defense has not been great throughout the season.
Especially now that they're going to be worried about that Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson.
And Frazier's down for the Pittsburgh Steelers, at least for this week. He was seen walking in a boot, so that could be a long-term injury for the season. It's going to be tough because the Steelers' offensive line has not played good enough, and I know the Jets' defense has been what's keeping them in games a lot of the times. The Jets are coming off of their loss to the Bills just Monday night, which was a very close game, and some argued that the Jets should have won. Obviously, they didn't come out with what they wanted. Rodgers is frustrated. They just fired their head coach. I don't know. It's tough. I'm going to go Steelers for right now. And that's just a homer pick, but I seriously think that the Steelers should win this game, even though people don't like the odds makers don't agree with me. I think the Steelers should win this game. It's going to be the way the Steelers play football. It's two great defenses and two so far underperforming lackluster offenses, and it's just to what defense can win the football game. So I'm going to take the Steelers, and I'm going to go over of the 38.5.
Okay.
And that concludes the Sunday. We've got two matchups for Monday Night Football. One really good game, and I'm sure you're dying to talk about this one, is Ravens-Buccaneers, as the Buccaneers are underdogs.
I completely get that, and that's because the even though
Sean Tucker.
Okay, that's not what I was going to say. But even though they held Alvin Kamara to 3.1 yards per carry on Sunday, they are playing Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and they're going to destroy this Bucs defense with their legs. And that's the only reason I'm picking the Ravens. I mean,
Derrick Henry, leading yards rusher and leading touchdown rusher.
Yep,
in the NFL.
and they're gonna gash this defense. I mean, we got Kalijah Kancey back, and we also got Antoine Winfield back, but I don't think it matters. That two-headed beast is incredible. But I do like the offense. I mean, Chris Godwin is playing.
Baker's your franchise guy.
Yeah, he's your franchise guy, and 3 of the picks he threw against the Saints, 2 were not his fault. One hit.
You're
Okay.
coping.
Okay. One hit Jalen McMillan in his hands, and then it ricocheted, and Jonathan Abram picked it off.
Okay.
And then the other one, Brian Brisset tipped it off the line, and it got picked. Granted, the first one, bad pass. I'm not excusing that one. But I also have to say, he threw 4 touchdowns, and I'm pretty sure that game he was a yak merchant.
Yeah.
Like
not to Mike Evans though.
Not to Mike Evans, but like to Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin took a check down, like 65 yards to the house.
Wow.
And then I think he hit Sean Tucker for like a 35-yard check down, and then he took it 35 yards.
Yeah.
So he was kind of a yak merchant there. So I'm not going to say like he had an incredible game.
Sean Tucker's been playing really good though. Had a really good
played
game.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, he had one
and
game.
Bucky Irving has been playing out of his mind. I love Bucky Irving, but I still have the Ravens here. What's the point total?
49.5.
Taking the over.
I'm going Buccaneers.
Thank you so much. That makes me feel good, but they're still going to lose.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why I'm taking the Buccaneers. You have to pick upsets at a certain point because the Ravens defense is just so good. Right? There's like no holes in it except for the defensive line, and even that isn't like a big deal. It hasn't like really came back to bite them.
I love Kyle Hamilton. Roquan is obviously very good. Same
Right.
thing with
And Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphreys.
Right.
Yep.
And they have another cornerback in Baltimore.
Nate Wiggins has been playing well.
Nate Wiggins is
He's
the
been
guy
playing
I
very
was
well as a
thinking about.
rookie.
Yeah. We are opposite ends, but we both agree on the over.
Yep. I'll take the over.
Chargers, Cardinals, Arizona is a slight underdog with 43.5 total points scored as the line.
Okay, yeah.
And this is tough because Arizona has had good spurts, but they haven't been consistent.
No, that's why I'm taking the Chargers here.
Okay.
I just think that Justin Herbert's playing pretty well right now.
What's your opinion on Quentin Johnson?
I don't think that.
He's back.
Yeah, but I think that it kind of sucks because he's not the kind of like in this. Like I watched Michigan a lot last year, and I didn't really enjoy watching Michigan a lot because they won a lot.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that a Jim Harbaugh led team is really gonna value a guy like Quinn Johnston.
Yeah.
I think they're really gonna stick with the run. I mean, he has 14 catches for 164 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not spectacular. Granted, that's better than what he was doing last year.
Yeah.
But I like him. I think he's kind of had a resurgence. But on this team, especially with Harbaugh as the coach, he's not going to be used, I think, to his full potential.
Yeah.
But
So you're taking the Chargers and then the over?
Despite all that, I'm taking the Chargers.
The Chargers and then
I'm gonna
43.5.
I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to stick with you on the under, but I'm going to go against you and take the Cardinals.
I could definitely see that.
That is the wrapping up of the Monday night game. That was 9 p.m. Chargers Cardinals, and that'll wrap up our entire segment on the NFL this week as our rundown pick'em. I have been Christian Bartoletti along with my co-host
Ben Giannetta.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Thank you guys so much, and have a good day.